drive toward left center field. That's going to win the ball game. Ty Kelly's RBI single here in the bottom of the 11th inning has given the Phillies a 4-3 victory over the Atlanta Braves. Let the celebration begin. Another great Sunday giveaway here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the Fanatics Solar Bobble Body presented by Community Energy. Give it out to the young fans coming to the ballpark so they get a great giveaway and a splash of sunshine here today as the Phils and the Braves get set for Game 3 of this 4-game series. It's Weekends with Schmidt presented by Acme Markets. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Ben Davis and Mike Schmidt. We get ready for a beautiful day of baseball as the Phils look to make it 3 in a row and 5 in a row here at Citizens Bank Park against the Atlanta Braves so far. And one of the guys that's been in the mix the whole time is Odubel Herrera. It doesn't matter what's happening outside the ballpark, Odubel keeps on performing.
Yes, he does. And you just got to like Odubel. He seems to get in the mix in some way in almost every ball game. Here's the highlights from last night, how he led the Phillies back. That's a tough left-hander right there with a couple RBIs on the bases. He hits a single up the middle. That's tough, and it's good to see Odubel hitting against a left-handed pitcher. Boom, there he picks on a first-pitch fastball to tie the ball game last night. That's the reason we got into extra innings. Odubel Herrera. I don't know. Let's call Odubel a bit of a lightning rod. You know, if he isn't running balls down in center field, hitting base hits, you know, getting big hits, getting on base, stealing bases. You know, he's flipping that bat. Yeah. He's getting on the other team's nerves. Just something about him. Maybe he's a little bit like Pete Rose, you know. Odubel, he brings it every day when he's in the lineup.
Well, he's back in the lineup again today. And one of the other factors from last night's victory is the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen for the Phillies really has turned it around over the last several weeks. And last night, 6 scoreless innings for the Phils.
They've come in and they've done their job. But the thing that I like the most, you know I despise the walks, Tom, but they haven't walked anybody. They're getting outs, they're pitching to contact, and it's really to a man. These guys really know their role. Justin Turner with his big league debut last night. Beato came in, did his job. But obviously, these guys, righties, lefties, they all know their role right now. They're getting guys out. They're coming in, and like I said, they're throwing strikes. You have to pitch at contact, but other times you have to need a strikeout. They also have the guys in the bullpen that can get the strikeout when they need it. Hector Neris for 2 very strong innings last night, and what can you say about Luis Garcia?
Yeah, Garcia got into a little bit of trouble last night, but got himself right out of that trouble. And there is Neris. For the first time since May, he threw 2 innings in a ball game. Helped out by Cameron Rupp, but also helped out by that split-finger fastball as well. So hats off to the Phillies bullpen for their efforts last night. And the hope is they could do it one more time here this afternoon against the Braves. It is Game 3 of this 4-game series. For the Phils, it'll be Vince Velasquez making his 13th start. R.A. Dickey, meanwhile, his 21st start of the season. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com. gorgeous day for baseball. The Phils and the Atlanta Braves, the third game of a 4-game series. It's kind of an oddity to have a 4-game series that culminates on Monday, but that's what's going to happen here with the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Vince Velasquez on the mound, getting a chance to greet the member of the starting 9 who looks ecstatic to be out there. But that is a really cool thing. The starting pitcher for that day signing an autograph and having a word with a youngster. He said thank you, which is great. And each of the starting 9 that have gone out there today get a chance to have an autograph from their favorite Phillies player, and they also want to get a chance to say hi to the Philly fanatic. All right, here's today's starting lineup for the Braves, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. So it's pretty much the same as what we've seen the first couple of days, aside from Kemp, who's on the disabled list, and Suzuki, who's back in the starting lineup and doing the catching. The man in the middle is Matt Adams, hitting .278, but a .343 hitter against the Phillies. And they'll face the right-hander Vince Velasquez, who the Phillies hope is nice and free and easy here this afternoon. He is 2-6 with an earned run average of 5.49. Last outing, not so great, but obviously the rain had a lot to do with it being so short for Vince Velasquez, Ben.
Yes, and again, it's a work in progress, seeing if he can be that starter that can get you deep into ball games. The pitch count up there, he'll sit about 94 miles an hour, slider, curve change, predominantly fastball, curveball. We'll mix in a couple change-ups. Overall against the Braves in 2016, 0-1 with a 3.79, but I'd like to see him pitch to contact and get early outs. It seems like we say that every 5th day with Vince.
Time now for our Nissan keys to the game. Michael, we're going to start with you.
Ride the wave. Just let the momentum go take you into this game. Last night's momentum, we're starting to now feel like we're going to win. And that's what hitting does to you. Hitting gives you confidence, momentum. You believe you can come back, and they did it last night.
Vince Velasquez worked all the quadrants with that fastball, up, down, in, out. He'll throw it 70% of the time, just about.
Velasquez making his 4th start against the Braves. Here's Ender Inciarte, who's 1 for 10 lifetime against him, and he greets him with a first pitch single out to right field. So we're underway. A little different storyline for Inciarte than the previous games.
Wow, 1 fastball, 1 rope. Inciarte's a nice leadoff hitter.
He is. Yeah. He's hit it 5 straight games now. He's got 130 hits on the year.
Guess what? He won't be decoyed at second base when they hit.
No, it was a big part of last night's game. The fact that the Phillies took it into extra innings because of the deke by Cesar and Freddie. And apparently what was the deke is that they just said, they just said something to catch his attention, thinking the ball was around the area. Here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips 5 for 9 in this series. Overall hitting .293. The first pitch in there for a strike, according to Pat Hoberg. Phillips has hit an 11 straight against the Phillies, hitting .422 during that stretch. Swing and a miss, 0-2. With the loss last night by the Atlanta Braves, they fell into 3rd place for the first time since the 17th of June. It's kind of interesting that they had played that well, that they had been sitting in 2nd, but the Marlins, winners last night, now 12.5 games back. The Braves 13.5 back, tied with the Mets. Outside with a breaking ball, 1-2.
Yeah, I watch Andrew Knapp there. 0-2 pitch. Did you often put the glove off the plate, basically?
Sometimes with 0-2 pitch, sometimes I did. Obviously, depending on where I want it. If you think you get a guy to chase, he's got his right on the corner there.
Yeah. The 0-2 pitch, he was about 4 or 5 inches further out.
Yeah.
I guess that would make a slider start on the outside corner, start in the strike zone.
I just always tried to have my mitt stationary. I didn't want my pitcher throwing to a moving target.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And that one's lined out toward right center field. On the run is Altair. He'll get there and make the catch. Well, that was a curveball, and to a certain extent, Velasquez might be fortunate on that Phillips missed it, and Altair was able to run it down.
We had a nice pass at it. Obviously, it just went up in the air. It's like a slider. Kind of an off-speed pitch on, well, kind of like middle 3/4 of the plate.
I think Phillips just clipped it just a hair.
Freddie Freeman now the batter. Freeman 2 for 9 with 4 strikeouts against Velasquez. Swing and a miss at a high fastball, 92. Velasquez against the Astros the other night was coming out. It was an adrenaline rush because he was facing his old team. He was coming out hitting 95 in that first inning. Vince 8-6 last year with 152 strikeouts and 131 innings of work. He's not going to reach that inning total this year unless he goes on a heck of a stretch. He's only at 59 innings this year. And he's dealing with Freddie Freeman, who has the highest batting average against right-handed pitching. No balls, 1 strike. 0-2. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box.
Velasquez getting ahead of hitters, that's for sure. 1 pitch to the first hitter for a base hit, and then 2 0-2 counts in a row.
Another one fouled away. And it remains 0-2.
He's breaking ball up. Phillips fly ball to right field was up in the middle of the plate. That slider right there. 0-2 up and over the middle of the plate. Put some bite on those babies. Bounce them.
No balls, 2 strikes. Bouncer. There was a little more bite on that.
Yeah, but it's still in the middle of the plate. It just has to be better than that. This is Freddie Freeman. This is the big leagues. You know, I mean, that pitch is right, literally, in the middle of the plate.
And he seems to be holding the ball in his stretch a long time. Must be concerned about Enciarte or something. But I don't believe he'll be running with Freddie Freeman there in this ballpark.
And he fouls off a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. 10 pitches, and now Velasquez asks for Knapp to come out.
Might be a location where Knapp is setting up. Maybe Vince doesn't like his setup. He said, if we're going to go in, make sure you get in. Or you go away, make sure you get out there.
Field line. He went with a changeup. I think if we looked at pitchcasts presented by Mazda, we would see a lot of the pitches are in a really good spot for the hitter. You just got to be careful with it.
He's got 11 pitches, thrown 1 ball, right?
First pitch he swung at was out of the zone, but all the other ones are in the zone. And good pitches to hit.
Up and in, 1-2. Freeman is 1 for 9 with a couple strikeouts in this series. Runner goes, pitches hit in the air to left field. And Nick Williams comes running in. Inciarte stopped and is heading back toward first. So it's an 8-pitch at bat. It turns out to be a fly ball to left after 5 foul balls. And Matt Adams is coming up.
I don't think any of us will ever forget his big strikeout game at in New York, right?
Well, here, the one against
here.
the Padres.
Oh, it was here?
Padres, yeah.
But he had a good game up in New York,
I thought
too.
he had a big game in New York where he just like dominated the game.
Well, here he struck out the 16.
Okay. Kind of sticks in our mind. It was like 95, 96, or, you know, big numbers on the trend.
I do remember last year, early on in the season, I did not have the game. Matt had it, but they were in New York, and it was Arctic. I remember watching the game thinking, he doesn't even have sleeves on. It was very windy and cold.
1 ball and no strikes to Adams. Outside 2-0.
Where Cesar Hernandez is, you're not going to see a second baseman play any deeper. I mean, he is way out in right field. And right here, it's incredible.
Really good circle too, Ben.
Thank you. I've been working on him.
Outside again, 3-0. Adams will be followed by Nick Markakis, who has been a pretty good hitter in this series. Walked him on 4 pitches. That's what puts runners on first and second. Another visit to the mound as Nat goes out to talk to Velasquez. And Markakis, a .279 hitter with 5 home runs, 4 for 7 in this series. He had a couple doubles in yesterday's game.
Oh, man,
gosh.
alive.
Amazing, isn't it? It's the 3rd trip to the mound.
Maybe he wasn't sure what sign they're using with a man on second. Trying to figure out what all this is about. We have no way of knowing. We have a catcher in the booth here. Maybe he knows.
Better to be safe than sorry.
That's a pretty safe answer there, Ben Davis.
Is that politically correct there?
Runners lead off. Here's the pitch. And Markakis takes low, 1-0. $18 pitches for Velasquez here in the top of the first.
I just didn't like to go out there. I just thought it threw my pitcher. It just stopped his momentum. Stopped what his train of thought out there.
I don't know whether he has any momentum at this point. Just walked Adams on 4 pitches. Whoa, that's a dangerous one.
Good thing for the net over the dugout. The only one we have to worry about it as it hits the net is Andy Rabel down there. One ball and 1 strike.
You don't see that net too well from where we are, do you?
No, in fact, if you sit behind the plate, it really is not intrusive.
Well, that was a good reason to have that net right there. That was a bullet headed right for the stands.
1 ball and 1 strike. And a fastball in there, 1-2.
Michael, would you ever say anything to a pitcher about maybe his pace? Now, I know I would as a catcher.
There's some I wouldn't.
Obviously not lefty. But would you ever, I mean, just say, hey, you know, we're back on our heels. Let's pick it up here, or anything along those lines?
I don't think so. I might go to the pitching coach and say, hey, you know, go talk to him. See if you can get him to work faster. We're out here like falling asleep.
Right.
Over toward left side, and Freddie Galvis makes a fantastic stop, and Inciarte doesn't realize it, and they throw him out at the plates. Don't give up on a play. Freddie Galvis with a fantastic stab on one hop. Inciarte thought it was going through, and he kept on going.
All right, let's watch the coach down here.
Look at that hop.
Great
Stop.
play by Freddie. It's a nice little strike to home plate.
Inning is over. The first inning, Freddie Galvis threw out Ender Inciarte, trying to score from second on a humpback line drive one hopper. So Markakis loops it out toward the hole at shortstop, and Ron Washington is waving, and then stopping him right there. But Inciarte was already on the bag and heading down, and he never looked up.
It was a little late, though, wasn't it, that stop sign?
And it wasn't very demonstrative either.
Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup for today, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. All right, so this is what we talked about last night. Freddie Galvis with the right-hander on the mound moves back to the 2-hole, and Aaron Altair drops to the number 3 spot for the Phils. Andrew Knapp, as we mentioned, does the catching today after Cameron Rupp started the last 4 games, and they will face the veteran right-hander R.A. Dickey. Dickey is 6-7 on the year with a 4.31 ERA.
Going to get a ton of knuckleballs, that's for sure. So that knuckler 82% of the time. Very good numbers against these fighting Phils, but make sure you get a knuckleball that's up in the zone.
2.98 ERA lifetime against the Phillies. That includes an outing earlier this year where he went 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, and struck out 8. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cesar.
The hitters have all seen him a lot training in Dunedin right next to us. Pitches a couple times each spring when he was with Toronto.
It did seem that way. It seemed like every time the Phillies faced the Blue Jays for the years he was there. Cesar batting right-handed against R.A. Dickey, which some switch hitters do. If they're more comfortable from one side of the plate, they'll use that instead of batting, let's say, from the left side against the righty.
Bernie Williams always did it against Tim Wakefield. Bernie's with the Yankees.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Hernandez. Off the outside part of the plate, 3-2. R.A. Dickey's asking where it was. He just said, no way.
You really think he wanted that one?
Yeah, I think he probably should have gotten it. A little too close to take, but it worked out.
Ball 4. So Cesar walks. Now that has been an issue, obviously, for R.A. Dickey this year, the free passes. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Davey Lawrence. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Davey will win $100. Introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Good luck, Davey.
Now Freddie will bat from the left side of the plate, which is his most comfortable side. You can run on R.A. Dickey, although I have to admit he's gotten better holding runners on and getting to the plate over the years.
I'm assuming he has to decide before he winds up whether he's going to first or not, unless he wants to throw a knuckleball to first base.
I think Matt Adams would appreciate that.
Another toss over, and Hernandez is just back.
I did that one time. I threw a knuckleball around the horn to Jeff Cirillo. We were in Seattle. on the strikeout.
Hit him right in the
and
face.
I had a decent knuckleball.
Yeah.
And I threw it around the horn, and he looked at me, and we went in the dugout. He said, "Don't ever do that again."
Freddie loops it out toward left field, and Sean Rodriguez is out there, makes the catch, 1 out. And Aaron Altair is coming up. See that gold on R.A. Dickey's glove? He is a Gold Glove winner. As we mentioned, he's gotten better holding runners on. He was always good when he was younger and a hard thrower. With that knuckleball pitchers, the opposition will try to swipe bags against them, but he gets to the plate pretty quickly. Altair is 3 for 6 in the series.
I'll tell you right now, you have to come to this game here with a little bit of a different style, different mindset as a hitter. The knuckleball moves late, it moves big, and you have to let the ball get on you. You know what I mean? It's hard to hit a knuckleball out front.
And it gets on you in varying speeds. I mean, that was 75 miles an hour, but he'll throw it in the mid-80s. Out toward right field. And Markakis will reel it in. 2 outs. Time now for our Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And our Cold Hard Fact today is that the Phillies are 19-19 versus the National League East this season. It marks the latest at any point in the season they have been 500 or above against their own division since September of 2013, when they were 36-36. I mean, in all seriousness, whatever happens with the Phillies in the future, they have to beat the teams in their division. And they've certainly handled the Braves this year, winning all 5 games here at Citizens Bank Park.
It's probably a unique situation for Williams, having faced R.A. Dickey. Not sure that he's faced many knuckleballers in his career.
You know, it's funny. I went back and looked, and I didn't see anybody in AAA that was throwing a knuckleball even 70% of the time. Bouncer foul, 0-2.
He's been all over this lineup, I will say that.
Yeah.
Nick finds himself in the cleanup spot right now.
8 for 33 on the homestand. Since the All-Star break, he is 4th among major league hitters with 18 runs batted in. Another toss over.
Probably a good time to run. So a good time to pitch out. 2-strike count on Nick. Cesar doesn't look too runnable. Oh, a little delayed steal.
And Williams strikes out. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. R.A. Dickey talking to Pat Hoberg as he goes off. I heard him say, "I'm sorry about that," but he thought it was a strike. 12 pitch inning. We'll go to the second. Took off, and there's Team Murphy, led by our own Greg Murphy, getting a chance to get themselves rolling. It starts in Philadelphia and rolled down to Atlantic City. Now there's Murph getting himself ready. Murph with 0 training for this year's race, but that made it even more exciting. Over 2,500 riders in this year's Tour de Shore. All of the proceeds go to the fallen heroes of police, fire, and military. Team Murphy's jerseys have always been sharp. They've outdone that compared to everybody else. It's a beautiful day to get on a bike and head on down. And Greg is joining us from Atlantic City. All right, so first of all, how are you feeling after your trek down to AC?
Well, I can tell you that I am happy to be off the bike for sure at this point. 67.5 miles, and it took about 5 hours. But guys, look behind me right here. This is what $1 million looks like.
Wow.
That's what we raised this year to give back to the charity, the Irish Pub Children's Foundation. It's just been a great day. The weather was perfect, so it's been awesome. And you know what? That money is going to go to good use throughout the next year.
Murph, how many riders are back year in and year out? I mean, are it the same riders every single year, or do you keep bringing in more people?
Well, we keep bringing in new people for sure, but we've gotten bigger and bigger for the 10 years that I've been involved. When I first started with the ride, we had maybe about 600 riders, and we had 2,500 today. So it is getting bigger and bigger. A lot of returning riders, but a lot of new faces as well, which is great.
How long did it take everybody to get from point A to point B?
Well, most people it took about, well, the really good riders, about 3.5 hours. Solid riders, 4:15. Guys like me, about 5. And there's still some people coming in. So, you know, it's not a race, it's a ride. We just want you to get here safely. And guys, I do want to say thanks to Comcast Sportsnet and thanks to the Phillies for all of their support throughout the year and helping make this happen, because we couldn't do it without them as well.
No question about that. So many people contributing. I know Murph was getting contributions even last night at the last moment. Can people still contribute?
They can. Log on to irishpubphilly.com, look for the Irish Pub Tour de Shore logo, click on that, and feel free to donate to Team Murphy. That would be great. It's all going to the same spot.
All right, so I got to ask you, was there a point when it was a race for you several years ago and not just a ride?
Honestly, no. It's always been a ride for me. Know thyself. That's what I always say.
All right, well, congratulations. It's great to see you. It's a great shot.
Guys.
It really is a great shot. Beautiful day. We're real proud of you. So thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Miss you, Murph.
Thank you, guys. Go Phils.
Way to go, Murph.
No balls and 1 strike to Johan Camargo with a runner at first base and nobody out here in the second. Freddie Galvis once again. Highlight reel play. Wow. 6-4-3 double play. I think it might be time for somebody to get that gold plate from Rawlings and put it right on that glove.
I'm sold for sure. I've been for a while. Michael Franco, hats off to his buddy there. Look at this, how slick this thing is. I mean, this is like, I hate to say it, but it almost looks like no doubt about it, you know? I mean, if Freddie's glove is near the ball's going in it.
His field awareness is what gets me. He always knows where he's at on the diamond.
Playing in his 102nd game of the year. It's the 102nd game for the Phillies.
How about the end of the year, the Freddie Galvis highlight reel? Be something to see.
Pretty special. Pretty special. Sean Rodriguez, a swing and a miss.
And what kind of confidence does that give your pitcher? I mean, if I get Freddie Galvis behind me, I'd want to pitch to contact.
Rodriguez 1 for 6 of the series with 4 strikeouts, but it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, how does that play change the face of this inning? Maybe men on first and third, nobody out.
I think definitely men on first and third. Yeah. Curveball hit toward Freddie at shortstop. Happy that he made that play. It was a little easier than the previous one. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. And the second very good defensive play by Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Certainly helped Vince Velasquez. It was only an 8-pitch inning. Little magic at shortstop for the Phils.
Really?
Tommy Joseph will start off the bottom of the second inning against R.A. Dickey. It'll be Joseph, Herrera, and Maikel Franco. Tommy has hit in 5 straight games. And he takes that knuckler on the outside corner.
That's the one he wanted, right? He apologized for yelling about that one. Worked.
Outside off the glove of Suzuki.
Now, Ben, do you think he can make that break a certain way, or he just throws it and has no idea?
You can absolutely make it break.
I mean, like away like a slider, or down like
pressure points.
Well, the way he started throwing the knuckleball, I was reading a story today about it, and I had never known this. I thought he had just been fooling around with it with Texas. But he was a 95, 96 mile per hour fastball guy, but was getting hit around and was a first-round pick. And he would have a fastball, he would have a curveball, but he would have a forkball. And as it turns out, the way he gripped his forkball was similar to the knuckleball. So that's how it evolved into his primary pitch.
So I see he's a 2-fingered knuckleball pitcher.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how he could make that into a forkball, but I guess if he spread those 2 fingers, it would have sort of forkball action.
Well, you have an ex-pitcher as well in the booth here that can demonstrate the fingers on the knuckleball.
Sometimes you'll have a knuckleballer. You know, sometimes you'll have a split when it comes out of a finger, comes out of your hand. Sometimes that'll knuckle.
Right.
Jose Contreras used to throw knuckleballs to me when I was with the White Sox. I mean, they would come in and they would literally be a knuckleball. And I used the smallest mitt there was. And it was tough at times to catch that darn thing.
Ground ball to shortstop, 2 outs here in the second.
Sometimes it would just, you know, it would tumble. Sometimes it would come out and literally knuckle and go back and forth. And it was not easy to catch.
So you don't think it's a stretch to then make it a pure knuckleball from a forkball?
No.
It's interesting.
But it is a stretch in the sense that with a knuckleball, you're more or less pushing that baseball as opposed to throwing the baseball.
And it's more fingernails than it is knuckles, right?
Maikel Franco takes a knuckler for a strike at the knees. See, that one's at 85. Although that might have been a fastball. That one's ripped past Freddie Freeman. And the first base hit of the day for the Phils is a single by Maikel Franco to left.
That ball was roped. That ball was only like a yard to Freddie's left.
He had that unbelievable play last night against Tommy Joseph for the round the horn double play, but Freddie not able to get to this one. This ball's blistered, like you said, Michael.
Maybe a little more in the yard,
but by him nonetheless.
Yeah, that's a good start for Michael today.
Andrew Knapp has not played in the series so far. I mentioned that Cameron Rupp has played the last 4 games. Knapp was the only hitter not utilized last night for the Phils. They almost used him. Hyun-Soo Kim has arrived and is with the ball club. He is wearing number 31 for the Phillies. So they have an extra bench player today. One ball, one strike. There's Kim and his interpreter Derek next to him. Talked to him a little bit earlier today. Said he was kind of caught off guard by the trade, was not expecting it. Does not have any expectations, just hoping to get a chance to play. Had a decent year last year with the Orioles, but just hasn't played a whole lot this season. And he kind of alluded to the fact that he thinks that was part of his issues this year. It was sporadic playing time. Well, we might have another conversation with Pat Hoberg.
That's 2 strikes.
Pat Hoberg at home. Tony Randazzo at first. Rob Drake at second. Mark Carlson, I thought, had a really good strike zone last night, is over at third.
It's excellent.
Michael will be off and running on this pitch. And ball 4. So that'll put runners on first and second.
Well done.
Second walk issued by R.A. Dickey. You've worked really hard for your home and your car, so why not give them the protection they deserve? A State Farm agent is here to help with the right home and auto coverage and discounts too. Talk to a Philadelphia area State Farm agent or call 800 State Farm. Velasquez is 6 for 20 on the year, and that one gets by Kurt Suzuki, and it's rolling along the warning track behind home plate. A wild pitch charge to R.A. Dickey.
See that different mitt there by Suzuki. Suzuki kind of stabs at this one.
He wasn't in good position for that break.
No, he
on that
wasn't.
ball broke to the right.
Now you want to be soft and catch that pitch as deep as you can. If you start to get out there with a stiff arm, you will clank it.
Well, that knee got in his way.
See how that one he kind of let get to him? It's like you have a giant pair of tweezers and just waiting for that ball and just get out there and catch it. Obviously easier said than done.
1 ball and 1 strike to Vince. Outside 2-1.
Suzuki's wearing that mask with the springs as well.
Well, he put the little take on right here. See if you can get him to throw a fastball out of the strike zone.
100%.
Well, he did get the fastball and he fouled it. Foul tipped it into the glove of the catcher. 3-2.
Have no choice but to throw another fastball.
Two fastballs that I can remember now. 3, 85, 84, and the last one was 83 miles an hour. And a strike 3 calls. He threw an 85-mile-an-hour fastball. The side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left for the Phils. We've played 2. Sun's out. That means the body's moving.
Man, it seems like everyone around me's on a honeymoon. have to take a pen to a heart-shaped balloon, 'cause everybody's got somebody but me.
Well, that is Hunter Hayes, who performed last night. And look at all the young ladies who were storming the field to get a good spot in front of the stage for the concert last night. He was excellent. He played for about an hour and 15 minutes. And it was a nice crowd that stayed. It was a beautiful night after the game was over with. And everybody that left had a lot of positive things to say about not only him as a person, but as an entertainer. I thought he was fantastic. I really did. I stayed. My daughter, my 17-year-old daughter Maggie, wanted to watch him, so she was here with three of her friends, and he really did put on a great show. And to the operation people, they did a fantastic job once again, not only getting the stage on the field, but also getting the folks in the right spot. Jamie Trout from the Phillies front office, who oversaw the concert, the post-game concert. He and his folks really did a great job. Kurt Funk, as R.A. Dickey bounces that one foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. But he was very entertaining. 25 years old.
Wow. I'm going to have to check him out on iTunes. Maybe download a couple.
Said his first stadium concert was in Philadelphia at the Link, as he told Murph, and he talked about it a little bit more last night during the concert with Taylor Swift, and he also talked about the record that he discussed with Murph, the 10 concerts in one day that culminated here in Philadelphia. R.A. Dickey fouls it off to the right again. It's 0-2. But it was a nice night. It was good for the fans. Like I said, a lot of them stayed around after the game.
Come from behind 11-inning victory.
Yeah, that made it better. R.A. Dickey is 5 for 39 this year. The 0-2 pitch to him. Ground ball left side. Maikel Franco will field it. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, guys, the question is, who is the only catcher to have 20 or more home runs and 20 or more stolen bases in one season? The answer will be revealed in just a little bit. Was it you?
No.
Oh. Mike, I think Ben has the answer. At least I think Ben thinks he has the answer.
I think I have the answer.
It's like the little train that could. Ciarte bounces it foul.
I don't think it's that man coaching first base right now.
No.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Not yet.
Shortly?
I should have just said no. 1-1 pitch to Ciarte. Fastball, and it's in there, 1-2. Breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Phillies starters since the All-Star break are 6-2 with an earned run average of under 4. Overall, the Phil's starters or Phil's staff since the All-Star break 4.12. The relievers have really carried the weight, although the starters have done a nice job. I mean, aside from a few hiccups here and there, they've gone deeper into games, which has put less of a burden on the bullpen. 3-2 pitch, and he got him. Foul tip, 94-mile-an-hour fastball, strikeout number 1 for Velasquez. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. For the rest of the season, watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription app at Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Brandon Phillips flied out to right field his first time up. Since the All-Star break, the Phillies have won 8 games, which in the National League ranks behind the Cubs and the Dodgers, who have each won 12, and the Mets, the Padres, and the Nationals, who have won 9. It's been a nice turnaround. They're 8-6 since the All-Star break. Playing cleaner games, maybe aside from the one Astros game.
It's all about the hitting, I guess you could say, and the bullpen, but golly, have things turned around because guys started to hit.
They have 47 runs in their last 8 games, the Phillies. 8 runs or more 3 times. Aaron Nola became the stopper on Wednesday night against the Astros, which was huge because that series was snowballing out of control.
He's been lights out. Just lights out.
1-2 to Phillips.
Awful big swing for a 1-2 count. You know what? It seems very comfortable.
Breaking ball whacked through the middle, a base hit.
Wow, that's good hitting right there. Nasty breaking ball, and he hits right up the middle. 2 strikes.
And he's now hitted 12 straight against the Phils.
That's one of those ones that kind of frees the hitter. You know, I mean, coming from Velasquez, who's a little uncomfortably wild.
In the dirt, backhanded by Knapp, and it's 1-0. Freddie Freeman flied out to left field his first time up. It was an 8-pitch at bat. He fouled 5 pitches off. Fly ball left field. And Nick Williams back to the wall, makes the catch, a step from the wall. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played 2 1/2. We'll move on to the bottom of the 3rd. Phillies and the Braves scoreless. brought to you by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by McDonald's, introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it. Back inside the Phillies dugout. Cameron Rupp is talking a little hitting with Tommy Joseph. There is Ty Kelly, last night's hero, who came up with the RBI single that sent everybody home in the 11th inning. And the first pitch to Cesar is outside, 1-0 as we begin the bottom of the third, second time through for the Phillies. Bouncer foul, and it's 1-1. R.A. Dickey, since becoming a full-time knuckleballer, and it was at the start of the 2006 season, he has 100 wins and 97 losses at an ERA of 3.80. Now, before that, it wasn't that he was a less than 500 pitcher. He just couldn't stay in the big leagues. They were hitting his fastball. He was getting banged up too. Bouncer out to second base. Phillips to a knee, has it. And one out here in the third. Tomorrow when the Phillies wrap up this series against the Braves, it's 12:35 first pitch. Just a reminder to that. But also after the game, Nemours sponsors the Kids Run the Bases. It's for children 14 and under. Please go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets and to get more information. One away for Freddie Galvis, who flied out to left his first time.
I got a chance to run the bases when I was a young person here in Philadelphia. I'd grab some dirt.
I was thinking about that last night watching
dirt,
the concert.
put it in a baggie.
I was watching the concert thinking, you know, will anybody take any of the dirt from the infield?
Or some grass.
Freddie fouls it, and it's 1-2.
You could always say, after this place is long gone, and it will be someday, as all stadiums eventually are,
yeah,
you'd have some.
1-2 pitch. Freddie serves it out toward left center field, a little floater, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Second hit of the day for the Phils.
That's it. Nice serve. Reach out and just hit that knuckleball. Try to pull it with too much energy. Just serve it out there like Freddie did. There's the serve. Yeah.
Put it in play, good things will happen. Freddie with that 1-2 count. Just put it in play. We saw that the other night. He just a little dribble down the third baseline. Friday night. He's down the count 0-2. Just served it down third baseline. Nothing Freddie Freeman could do.
Altair tied up that first pitch fastball, and it's 0-1.
See, this is where I like Aaron Altair in the 3-hole.
So just put him there and keep him there?
Yes. I like Freddie in the 2-hole. Obviously, Freddie likes it in the 2-hole. His numbers speak for themselves. But I just like Aaron in the 3-hole.
The ball gets away from Suzuki, and Galvis goes to second.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No question. I guess he's probably the most well-rounded hitter that we had in terms of run production, power, speed, athleticism. I've always said Altair would be my 3-hole hitter every day.
I just think he's the most consistent as well in this lineup. You look at the defense, it's hard to defend. Everybody's straight up because he uses the whole field.
2-1.
Wait till he learns that he doesn't have to swing so aggressively at pitches to hit him. You know, to hit him far. One of my least favorite sayings is drive the ball. You got to drive the ball. I believe driving the ball means you have to put extra energy into the swing. You got to drive it. Just flow through it and it'll go. You'll be quicker, more level through the ball. But you have to believe that. You have to experience it to know that.
Could you tone it down from pitch to pitch?
Oh, yes, absolutely. What I mean by my answer is, if I felt myself having too much adrenaline in a particular day, really wanted it too bad, found that I was trying to energize the ball too much, pressing, you know, I'd say, okay, Mike, just back off. Don't swing so hard. Relax your swing.
They're down looking on strikes, 4 strikeouts for Dickey.
Doesn't mean that immediately I guaranteed success with that, but I knew that was a good adjustment point. I had to go fall back on. Not many. I don't think many players nowadays. That was a little low, wasn't it?
Well, it looked like, according to the pitchcast, it was right at the bottom of that box. It's a pretty good movement on it.
I don't think Aaron was looking for 3-2 fastball in.
I wouldn't have thought so either.
No.
Williams bounces it out towards second. Brandon Phillips sweeps in. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left in scoring position. Phils have left 4 through the first 3 innings. Still a 0-0 game. K-Cup pods. Call upon the local company who has perfected the perks of same-day delivery. Order by 11:30 and your WB Mason driver delivers right to your break room. Local, fast, and convenient. Who but WB Mason? Fanatic bobble body. It's in the sun, so it's bobbing. Matt Adams leads it off. Adams walked his first time up and swings at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Braves are finishing up a long road trip. The Phillies will head out on a long trip tomorrow. Braves will head home. They'll take on the Dodgers after tomorrow's game. Oh, 1 pitch coming to Adams. And a topper back to the mounds. Velasquez throws him out, 1 away. And Nick Markakis is coming up. Do you need a night out? Do you love the Fanatic? Well, then listen up. Come out to CSN night at Painting with a Twist on August 8th. Watch the Phils take on the Braves while sipping and painting. You'll even get 2 tickets to an upcoming game. So go snag your spot on paintingwithatwist.com. I hope they wait for the Fanatic to come in after everything dries. I returned the fishing nets today to the Fanatic.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Was he appreciative?
He was not down in his lair when I did it, but I put it in the storage department, and he's got a lot of stuff. Let me tell you.
I can imagine. He's accumulated a lot over the years.
I just put it where the other fishing nets were.
There were more in there?
Yeah, there was a couple more and a fishing rod also.
It's like a Fanatic cave.
Yeah, it's not a man cave. It's a Fanatic cave. 1 ball, 1 strike to Markakis. Curveball outside, 2-1. Markakis among the hits leaders since 2008. He is 4 hits away from 2,000 for his career. Sprays it foul, 2-2.
I think Beltre does it today. Is number 3,000?
Yeah, I think he does. They take on the Orioles later on. But I think today's the day for him. He's 1 away.
You think Beltran gets there?
That's a tough one.
He's a little over 200 away, right?
Yeah. Foul ball and a broken bat. I just don't know if he has the years left in him to do it. And believe me, he's had a remarkably good career. Over 400 home runs, over 500 doubles. But I guess it just depends on if he wants to stick around. You know, he probably could linger for a year or two and maybe get it.
Have to be an American League team.
Yeah, I would say the Astros are probably a pretty good fit for him because he can DH most of the time. He's 2,695 hits, Beltran. So 305 away.
Couple years.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
3.
guess. I was thinking 3. And Markakis strikes out. Second strikeout for Velasquez. I think he'd go back to his last couple of years and maybe average the number of hits that he's had. You know, because this year he'll get into the low 2,700s before it's over. Good curve.
One kind of went down and away from Markakis. Usually a curveball would break into a lefty. Kind of backed up a little bit.
Fastball off the outer edge. They check the swing. Tony Randazzo says he didn't go. Nice to see Tony Randazzo back. He's been out since the middle of May. He got hit with a foul ball in a game in the 7th inning of a ball game. The game wound up going 14 innings, and he checked out during the extra inning sessions. And he was diagnosed with a concussion. This is his first series back since that concussion. So it's been 2 months. So he'll have the plate tomorrow. One ball, 1 strike to Suzuki. Got a curveball, check swing, floater out to second. It spins right into the glove of Cesar. A 1-2-3 inning for Velasquez. His first 1-2-3 inning of the day. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th. Bright sunshiny afternoon. brought to you by Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. It's one of the best days of the year weather-wise. Temperatures are in the low 80s. Nice breeze coming in.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, the Phillies and the Braves are scoreless as we go to the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Tommy Joseph, Odubel Herrera, and Maikel Franco. And they are set to face R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey's allowed just a couple hits and a couple of walks through the first 3 innings. Tomorrow, fight off a case of the Mondays with the NBC Sports app. Yep, that means you can stream the game right from your desk. We promise not to tell your boss. Download now to keep up with all your Philly teams. I would assume Murph is streaming the game right now down in Atlantic City. Reminder tomorrow, 12:35 start. First pitch, I should say, will be on the air at 12:30. Tommy Joseph takes a cut and a miss at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Then it's off to Anaheim.
Little Mike Trout action.
Little Mike Trout action. 0-2. It's a neat ballpark.
Great ballpark.
It really is. I don't know how it was back in the 70s and the early 80s because it was a football stadium too, but they've made it baseball only. And it's a really neat setup. Tommy Joseph strikes out for the second time. 5 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey. 1 out. Odubel Herrera's coming up. Yesterday, Odubel was bringing the lumber, brought to you by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine.
First pitch fastball hunting. First pitch fastball receiving. He knew what to do with it. Down and into a lefty. Nitro zone. It's your Yellowwood bringing the lumber.
Odubel hitting a .359 here in the month of July. 12 for 26 now on this homestand. Outside 1-0.
So if you have Cesar Hernandez and Freddie Galvis and Odubel Herrera, don't you think Odubel is more of a front of the lineup hitter?
I think eventually, yes, I do. I just think that Pete is comfortable now because of how he's hitting, just keeping him toward the lower half. He bunts it up the third base side. R.A. Dickey throws from his backside, and Odubel has a bunt hit.
Excellent play, Odubel.
Well, talking about his hitting and how confident he is feeling, that's part of the topic for our Geico quote of the day. And it's Odubel saying it's definitely been going well. It's better than before. I think it's all due to timing. When I get to manage my timing, things start clicking for me. With that leg kick, I would agree with that.
The little things like he just did right there now. That's good baseball. You got a knuckleballer pitching. And a knuckleball, by the way, would be an easy ball to bunt and then slow.
As long as it doesn't have that late movement on it.
Want to find that bottom of your bat.
I actually thought Cesar might have tried to lay one down. He had a bunt base hit last night. Did Cesar. I thought maybe his first couple of bats, hey, drop one down, see what happens.
Check swing off the glove of Suzuki, and Herrera goes to second. They say no swing on Maikel Franco. Well, that is wild pitch number 3. This is game number 12 for Suzuki behind the plate with R.A. Dickey on the mound.
Again, he didn't look to be in a very good position to catch that baseball.
I mean, if you kind of know, you got to move your body, don't you?
Yeah.
1-2 strikes to Franco. And a pop-up foul.
Michael looks like he's timing his knuckleball up pretty good.
Two and two to Michael, who singled to left field his first time up. One of the 3 hits for the Phils. Bouncer up the third base line, foul. Inside 3-2.
I still think Michael's standing up taller and calmer in the batter's box. He used to move his hands around quite a bit.
Hang him over home plate.
Bouncer over to third. Freddie Freeman has it, and Odubel's on his way to third base. Adams' throw not in time. So a ground out and a runner to third. Important today because of all the wild pitches that R.A. Dickey has uncorked this afternoon.
Absolutely.
That's right, Tom. Good base running by Odubel.
Very smart.
You got Sammy over there too, helping him. There's the ground ball to third. Tough hop for Freddie. Freddie throws a strike to first, and by the time Matt Adams can get it back to third, Odubel's there. Watch Odubel kind of check him out. Boom.
It really is smart baseball. Now wild pitch.
It'll be double smart.
Yeah.
Or a base hit.
Andrew Knapp takes strike one. Knapp walked his first time up. Off the glove, and here comes Herrera. He's going to score easily. 1-0 Phillies on top.
Well done. And that's the kind of stuff that will endear you to your manager.
That's a good point, Ben.
Now we saw Odubel get pulled out of the ball game the other night. Well, he's back in Pete Maccannon's good graces, that's for sure.
I would think that has to be a pass ball, that one.
Yes.
Right? And it has been determined it's a pass ball.
I'm assuming R.A. Dickey has seen that before.
I would think so.
Ball's getting by the catcher.
I mentioned Suzuki and Flowers have kind of split the time this year with R.A. Dickey on the mound. Another one gets by Suzuki. Not a big deal.
Ben, you ever catch a knuckleballer?
I did not. Never had to.
Ever want to?
You have a knuckleball glove?
I do not.
Do you ever want one?
No. I think I'd have been
You could
okay
sell
at it, though. You could sell them. I think I'd have been all right at it.
Ball 3, and it's 3-2. I wonder what kind of extra concentration there has to be, you know, from a catching standpoint.
We got a catcher in the booth.
But he never caught one.
Well, I mean,
He could pretend.
I told you the best knuckleball that I ever caught or saw was Phil Nevins, third baseman with San Diego.
Swing and a miss. 6 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey, but the Phils strike first here at the bottom of the 4th inning, thanks to the pass ball by Kurt Suzuki, and also a wild pitch and some good base running. 1-0 Phils. the New York Mets. It's the culmination of the Toyota Phillies Alumni Weekend, and it's Alumni Day. The Topps Wall of Fame card pack will be given out to all fans. Please go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets and to get more information. Top of the 5th inning. Huh. Well, we do have some room. I mean, depends on how many people are here. But we have some room if you want to come on up. It's a nice day to be out at Ashburn Alley soaking in some sun. As long as you have your sunblock on. Here is Johan Camargo. He hit into a double play his first time up. An outstanding play by Freddie Galvis. First pitch, a breaking ball in there. It's 0-1. Conditions today 81 degrees. Really sunny. Slight breeze out of the north.
Is that a technical term, really sunny?
Well, we had that up in New York one day. John was trying to figure out partly sunny and partly cloudy, the difference, because it wasn't a day like this, but it was sunny out. So we kept changing it. 2-1.
We got a second Hall of Fame ceremonies going on up there right now.
Is.
Jeff Bagwell, Tim Raines, Bud Rodriguez.
John Sherholtz was the first one to speak. Bud Selig also being introduced. Watching the replay later, interested to see where Bagwell fits Larry Anderson into his speech. He said he was going to mention Larry Anderson because and there's been some great stories written about the trade. You know, considered one of the worst trades in baseball because Bagwell was a young pup with only a handful of home runs. You can count on one hand in Double-A when he was traded to the Astros. Fastball just outside, 3-2. And Larry was traded as a rental player to go to Boston. Pitched really well for the Red Sox the last month and a half of the season. But Larry has been the subject of a number of interviews this week leading up to the Hall of Fame induction of Jeff Bagwell.
He went into Art Howe after he got traded. He said, I'm getting traded for Double-A third baseman with 4 homers.
Right. Ball 4. And Camargo walks. And that is a true story. Larry says that, you know, when Art Howe told him, he's like, really, that's all? Double-A?
That's all it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, speaking of Bagwell, highly underrated player, man. If you look at his stats, I know he's only at mid 400 home runs, but I got him like 10 years with 90+ RBIs.
Well, he and Biggio were the heart and soul of that Astros team for all those years. Rodriguez grounded out his first time up. And he lines it foul. It's 0-1.
They were tough outs. And Bagwell, the way I couldn't stand him because he was a power guy, but he didn't strike out a ton. He covered the plate very well and very unique style. In fact, that he got really wide, a real wide base.
Yeah, really wide,
and
with no stride.
He actually come back with a stride. He wouldn't stride. His landing foot or plant foot, his left leg would come back.
Reverse stride.
Reverse stride. Remarkable.
If folks out there get a chance, you want to Google something, Google Jeff Bagwell and check out his career stats.
And he played every day.
And 2 to Rodriguez. Up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I believe I'd have to step out if a pitcher held the ball that long on me. Get a little tense standing there, waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah, it seemed like he in the first inning, Vince was doing that quite often. Curveball hit foul behind the plate.
What's amazing about Bagwell is he didn't get to play at Minute Maid Park until the year 2000. So he had 9 years at the Astrodome. And that place was huge.
Did he have that many? Wow.
He got caught up. 91 was his first year. He played 156 games. So 91 through 99, he had to play in the Astrodome. And that place was enormous.
These home run numbers just from 93 on. 31, 43, 34, 42, 47, 39, 31, 39, 27.
Big numbers.
Whew.
I didn't realize he played that many games at the Astrodome.
Mm-hmm.
1-2 pitch coming to Rodriguez. And he fouls it again.
How about that walk from the clubhouse down to the dugout, Michael?
Down.
Oh.
Worse yet, how about that walk back?
Oh, horrible.
After facing J.R. Richard, Larry Durker,
Nolan
Don
Ryan.
Wilson, Nolan Ryan.
It was literally like walking a plank underneath the stands.
Right.
All the food was down there, and the rats and ugh.
The rats. Out to shortstop. Galvis flips to Hernandez. Easy double play. They make it look easy. Second 6-4-3 double play of the afternoon. 2 away here in the 5th.
We had a nice walk back up that hallway, though, in 1980. Whew. Freddie, just a nice little shovel out of the glove, no problem. Tailor-made double play ball.
That Rodriguez by a good margin. So now R.A. Dickey is the hitter. He grounded out to third his only time up, 0 for 1. 8 groundouts today for Vince Velasquez. A little different game. It's kind of what Ben was talking about, pitching to contact. Only 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, I'd be low to mid 70s pitches through 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look that way early on, did it?
It did not.
22 balls, 49 strikes.
His split compared to the first inning has really gotten good. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3. Turns out to be an easy inning for Velasquez because of the double play ball and the defense by Freddie Galvis. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We've played 4.5. Fills up 1-0 over the Braves. Time now for our Citizens Bank minor league report. Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. All right, here we go. Lehigh Valley defeated Durham 2-1 on a Scott Kingery walk-off RBI single. Was part of a 4-hit day for him. Nick Rickles, a double and a walk. Reading defeated Hartford 8-1. Clearwater defeated Fort Myers 3-0. JoJo Romero pitching well again. And Lakewood defeated Hickory Bailey Falter is 5-1 now after going 7 innings, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts. Odubel Herrera's accounted for the only run for the Phillies today. Some heads-up base running after a bunt single. And we move to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Velasquez in the top of the order.
Scott Kingery, another a 4-hit day. I don't know about another, but I'm sure he's had 1 or 2 this year.
Outside corner, 0-1.
It's going to cloud up that infield picture.
Yeah, Crawford hit a home run today, his 10th. Kingery is 1 for 2 today. 0-2.
Last 10 games, Kingery's hitting .341. His last 10.
That was his second 4-hit game. Tapper back to the mound by Velasquez. And 1 out here in the 5th. And here comes Cesar Hernandez. Cesar is 0 for 1 with a walk.
That's unique.
Comparison between the 2 pitchers.
Freddie Freeman just tossed the ball all the way down the left field corner to the ball girl.
I saw him do that the other day. I guess he figured instead of ticking somebody off by just flipping it into the stands, he'd let her take care of it. Bouncer left side. Galvis, or excuse me, Hernandez hustling up the line. And now Galvis will be up with 2 outs. Check in during your visit to Citizens Bank Park using the MLB.com Ballpark app, the official Citizens Bank Park app for your iPhone, Android, smartphone. Perfectly complements and personalizes your trip with ballpark maps, mobile check-in, and more. Download MLB.com Ballpark today or visit Phillies.com/ballpark app to learn more. Make sure you try the food and beverage beer finder as well. Hey, by the way, we're talking about the minor leagues. You know, we interact with the broadcasters down in the minor league level all the time, whether it be in spring training or during the regular season. And John Schaefer, who has been one of the longtime voices of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs with Matt Province, left and starts a new job tomorrow in San Diego on a sports talk radio station out in San Diego, producing and doing some on-air stuff. And we want to wish him the best of luck. I know he's already out in San Diego, but John, super guy. We see him in spring training all the time because he does some of the radio, the internet games with Matt. And, you know, they're very helpful from our standpoint because we don't see all of the players on the daily basis down in the minor leagues. And we've got eyes and ears that help us out. You know, Steve Potter, who has a book out that's in the Majestic Clubhouse store. He gives us great information on the players. Matt with his notes, as well as John Schaefer and Mike Ventola down in Reading. So we wish John the best of luck in his new venture. There's a bouncer right side, R.A. Dickey, and the ball hits Freddie Galvis, and Freddie will just keep on going. And Freddie is at second base thinking, I'll stay there.
He did not let that ball go foul.
You think it would have spun foul?
I do, just because the English that was on it.
R.A. Dickey's thinking there was interference, but I didn't think Freddie deviated from the baseline, and it would have hampered R.A. Dickey at all. It's not reviewable anyway. It's up to the umpires.
Great hustle by Freddie. R.A. didn't realize he was going to run into a problem there, getting the ball around Freddie Galvis, who was running in the running lane there.
Oh, it's definitely going to go foul.
Great reaction as the ball goes past the first baseman to get to second. In the scoring position with 2 outs.
So it's a single E1. And Aaron Altair takes strike 1. right out of play. Outside off the glove of Suzuki, and over to third goes Galvis.
Here we go again.
Another pass ball for Suzuki. It's his second.
Seems to have trouble with the ball moving to his right today. That was a good knuckler. You can't fault him.
Time is called. One and two to Altair. Swing and a miss. It doesn't harm R.A. Dickey as Altair goes down on strikes. 7 strikeouts today. Phillies leave one over third. They maintain a 1-0 lead as we go to the 6th. Cross Philly of the week is taking the hill with a high level of confidence recently. Aaron has registered 7 straight quality starts since the middle of June. During those 7 starts, he put away opponents with 7+ strikeouts in each outing. The first Phillies pitcher to do so since Curt Schilling in 1998. Nola hit a career high in strikeouts in his outing versus the Astros. In 6 innings, he limited them to just 4 hits, no runs. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Aaron Nola certainly put together an outstanding outing. It was a fun night last Wednesday when he was pitching, not only because of the offense, but truly because of the way he pitched. His month of July, 3-1 record, a 1.32 ERA. In fact, June and July, he's really put it together. Well, we go to the 6th inning, and Ender Inciarte is 1 for 2. He'll lead it off against Velasquez. Had a pitch outside, 1-0.
Speaking about Aaron Nola, every good team, our team's going to grow into a contender, is going to need what you call a stopper. You mentioned earlier that he stopped that series in Houston, turned it around.
I really thought it was
not
needed.
here, though.
Yeah.
You know, his last start.
I mean, obviously the offense helped, but I just think the way he cooled a very hot lineup gave them so much, gave them such a boost.
Well, when we had, we were in our heyday, you know, you could always count on lefty coming up every 5th day.
Yep. Yeah, we were so spoiled as Knapp gets a new glove. We were so spoiled when the Phillies had Hamels, Lee, Halladay.
I mean, you got 3 stoppers.
It was incredible.
every one of them. Well, Halladay for sure. I'll say each of them a no-hitter waiting to happen.
2-1 pitch to Inciarte. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
I think that's when, you know, we're doing the pre and post game shows. I think that's when the idea that for your standout star, you cannot pick a pitcher, because you had Doc going, or Cliff, or Cole. I mean,
Big
it was
Joe.
Yeah. I think that's where that idea originated.
3-2.
Have to check with Ricky Bo and Marshall and Michael B. But it would be too easy.
Two pitch now to Inciarte, choking up on the handle, and he lifts it in the air off the third base line. Franco gives it a look and out of play.
You know, when you had those guys, you know, if you score one early, there's a chance it might be enough.
Without a doubt.
Two sometimes was automatic.
Strike three calls. Little delayed call by Pat Hoberg. That is not going to endear him to Ender Inciarte or the rest of the Atlanta Braves. 4 strikeouts for Velasquez. Take a look. It's right at the bottom of the zone, according to PitchCast, presented by Mazda.
What Andrew Knapp did well on that is he held it out in front for Pat Hoberg. He didn't let that pitch ride him back. It was not where he was set up. But sometimes catchers will have a tendency to catch that ball, and that ball will ride their hand back and take it out of the zone. Andrew Knapp stuck it out in front. Nice job.
Brandon Phillips stands in. First pitch outside. Phillips is 1 for 2 today. Singled up the middle, flied out to right field.
Another one of the no stride hitters. Good hitters that don't have a stride. Almost got a little Bagwell stance, almost. Kind of sitting down there low, wide.
It's true. Off the first base line, Tommy Joseph will watch it go back into the crowd. 1 ball and 1 strike. That brings us to our State Farm combo. State Farm here to help life go right. And we're going to combine the efforts of Brandon Phillips and Odubel Herrera in the last 13 games. Both with 18 hits. Odubel with 1 less RBI, but 1 more home run. Brandon Phillips, 7 doubles during that time. Odubel with 6. And it's 1-1 to Brandon Phillips.
We do have confirmation on that. Ricky Bo just texted me, so that's when it started.
Because of the pitchers?
Because of the pitchers.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to pick Doc today.
1-2 pitch. And he fights it off foul.
Speaking of Doc, Tom, I never asked you this question. When he threw that perfect game, when did you think he had a chance? I mean, was it just right out of the chute? I mean, he was electric every time he hit the mound, but
he was electric every time he hit the mound. I think that because it was such a good pitching matchup between he and Josh Johnson, that it probably wasn't until, I mean, you knew in the 6th inning that it was a possibility. So I guess it was around there. You know, after 5 is when I always think about it.
Right.
All right, does this guy have enough stuff? Is his pitch count okay? I mean, from a broadcasting standpoint, I think about it. But I would think that day it was probably the 6th because it was such a tense game.
Right.
It wasn't a blowout by any stretch. 1 out here. Brandon Phillips 2-2. And he fouls it back again.
Now, how about with Cole's no-hitter? Was it like, wow, he's got it today?
Again, I felt like Halladay had it more than Cole did. And the Cubs lineup, I mean, was a pretty good lineup when Cole was doing it. Not that the Marlins wasn't.
Right.
So I would think Cole was probably around the same time that he had a chance to get it. And then when Odubel fell on the last out, oof. Kept thinking, oh no.
Hey, well, I'm impressed with Brandon Phillips as a hitter. Didn't realize he was this good a two-strike hitter, this good at battling pitchers. He has battled us every at bat.
Spun himself right down to the ground on that swing.
It's a good change up there. 87.
11.9% K percentage. That's a stat now.
Yeah, that's a stat. Walk percentage is a stat.
Means he strikes out 12 times out of every 100 at bats.
I think it's one time every 12 and a half at bats. Out toward left field. Williams waits for it. 2 outs. Well, we flash back to the 9th inning of Roy Halladay's perfect game. That ball off the bat I thought had a chance. Victorino kind of sold it that it didn't. Helms goes down looking on strikes at the inside fastball. And I thought the most underrated player in that game was Juan Castro over at third base. Yeah, that was the perfect game for Roy Halladay.
That's a tricky play, right, Mike?
No, it's going to be an error. Worst case, it's not going to be a perfect game.
But I'm saying with that hop that took, you know, kind of
could have been.
Freddie Freeman waves at the first pitch, and it's 0-1.
That yard was so big to center field, though, in Florida.
I forget where I watched that. I think I told you that before on the way to Rhode Island, Florida, by car in a hotel on an iPhone.
Fly ball center field. It's not deep. Playable for Herrera, shading his eyes from the sun. Makes the catch. A 1-2-3 6th inning. It's a pretty comfortable outing right now for Velasquez. Hopefully the Phils can get some runs. I mean, the sun's out. Everybody else is moving. To you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By WB Mason. Who bought WB Mason for fast free delivery? Nobody does it better. And by your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. Nick Williams will lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Not a whole lot happening offensively. The biggest thing that's been going on are all the pass balls and wild pitches that have been uncorked by R.A. Dickey. Nick Williams just barely gets out of the way of that first pitch.
Well, Nick is not going to get an 0-2 count in this at bat, obviously, but he's got 90 total at bats this season. He's already had 32 0-2 counts. 32 out of 90. That's incredible. He is aggressive.
Outside 2-0, and I would have thought that he would have less because he's aggressive and he's getting after pitches, the first or second pitch that's coming in.
I really started to notice it during that Houston Astros series.
Ground ball toward the right side. Adams has it, flips to Dickey covering, and he just gets there ahead of Nick Williams. 3-1 on the putout, 1 out here in the 6th. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, guys, here we go. Who is the only catcher to have 20 or more home runs and 20 or more stolen bases in one season?
Go with Pudge Rodriguez.
Pudge, I am not a Hall of Famer yet. Rodriguez is correct. Back in 1999, 35 home runs, 25 doubles.
Wasn't he MVP that year, 99?
I would have to check on that, and I will do that for you, Ben.
Played every day in that heat.
He was the AL MVP. Thanks to our crack research department down in the production cavity. We got Carl checking pass balls and wild pitches up here. 3 wild pitches today for R.A. Dickey. His career high is 4. I thought it would have been more than that.
Four in a game?
Yeah.
It has been dancing today. It really has. And unfortunately for the Phillies, it was dancing last time they saw him in Atlanta.
Yeah, 7 innings last time, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Today it's 4 hits and 1 run. It's not earned. 2-1 pitch coming to Tommy Joseph. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Think Tommy's swinging too hard at that knuckleball?
He's having a little trouble with it. It just looks so big sitting out there when it comes up and it starts moving, and you feel like trying to swat flies up here. Good take right there. That was a tough one.
I've noticed that he's thrown the knuckleball a lot softer to Tommy today.
74, 75, 76 miles
Pitch
an
prior
hour.
to that was 71.
Opposite way. And Markakis makes the one-handed grab. 2 outs here in the 6th. Time now for our Toyota turning point. We go to the 4th inning. This is the only run of the day. Odubel waits, and then goes from second to third. And then, as he's leading off third base, the ball gets away from Kurt Suzuki. 1 of 2 pass balls for Suzuki today. And he crosses the plate. Taking that little extra base, being a little extra aggressive could pay off.
Yes, sir. And that's your Toyota turning point.
Odubel bunted his first time up, or last time up, I should say, and that led to the run scored.
What's the difference in that and the one before it? Caught the corner moving away.
And that one was tails.
I think the umpires before the game go, oh, geez, I got knuckleballer today.
Absolutely.
The other guys are getting on him going, I'm glad I don't have it.
He bunts again in front of the plate. Suzuki this time has it, throws high, and Odubel is safe once again. Tony Randazzo ducked as the throw came in. I think he kept his eye on the bag. I guess I would duck too.
I don't even think a good throw has him. We'll take a look here. It's not the best bunt. Right out in the middle of home plate. It does die nicely, but I think Odubel's going to beat it anyway.
Well, you know, you wonder with 2 outs, is that a good play? Odubel. personally, I don't think so. I think driving a ball, there's a bad word.
Yeah,
maybe a double in the gap. A guy with 30-some doubles can hit a home run last night. 2 out. You know, 1 out, no outs, 1 out. I love the play. I'm not so sure I do with 2 outs.
I don't have a problem with it if you're going to go ahead and try and steal second base. If you think you can get on there, if it's a regular pitcher, I'd say go ahead and swing away. But a knuckleballer, I don't mind it as much. But now try and steal second.
Outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Franco.
I don't think he's going anywhere with that lead.
Turn him loose? I for sure would. Get a little fastball on his 3-0 count, maybe.
It's the knuckler.
That was nasty, too.
That was the fastball.
Michael figured we were getting knuckleball. If you get it 3-0, you're going to get it 3-1. Snuck a fastball through the hitting zone on him. Bet you wish you had that one back. Now what's he going to do?
Got to go back with the knuckleball, right?
I think so.
Odubel will be off and running, not being held on. 3-2, 2 outs. And he does go back to the knuckler. And it puts runners on first and second with 2 men down. And Andrew Knapp will be the hitter. Knapp's had a tough time today against this knuckleball. He did walk his last time up. Oh boy, Suzuki really had trouble. That may have been a strike if he didn't sort of flail with his glove. I'm not saying it's an easy job. It really isn't.
No, I was just going to say, Ben, does Suzuki know which way the knuckleball is going to break?
No. You see, with his mitt on the ground. You see it. I remember Doug Mirabella used to do that when he caught Wakefield.
Why do you start with it on the ground? Because you don't know where it's going to go?
Because again, you don't want to get locked out. If you have it up like you typically give a target, the more you get locked out with that elbow, the stiffer your arm gets, the more rigid your arm gets, and you're going to start clanking them. You have to be, like I said, like you have a giant pair of tweezers back there.
See,
Odubel's going to try to go to third. The throw is, no, it's there in time, but he got his hand in somehow. Mark Carlson said, okay, we'll take a peek at it.
Back to the catcher, right? And that's, good base running. Michael should have been on second.
Oh yeah, he's not even on second. I didn't realize that.
I mean, they went to it right away.
Can't tell if he got him there. His hands on the bag. Yeah.
Oh, that's unless
he came off.
Yeah,
he did come off.
He came off. Yep.
But I don't understand why he's in that bent knee position behind home plate, where you know what I mean, where he's almost sitting on the ground. He can't have good lateral movement.
No, you don't. I would agree with that. I would be in the air. as opposed to having my left kneecap on the ground.
He was safe originally.
He was, and then he came off the bag, and it looked like his hand, well, there was nothing on the bag when he came off with his right hand. So this should go down as a putout for Freddie Freeman at third. Gives R.A. Dickey a chance to go over some pitches with Pat Hoberg. And I'm sure that's what he's doing.
If you're RA, you just got to tell him, hey, just try and stick with it as much as you can.
This is the first time Hoberg, this is the first time that Hoberg is umped a game with R.A. Dickey on the mound. See right there, it looks like.
It doesn't look to me like the umpire was actually looking where the tag was made. Right there, right there,
he's
right
off
there.
The bag. I guess the biggest thing is it was the glove definitely touching him. You assume that it was. Freddie Freeman is saying, I'm going to get as close to this dugout as I possibly can because I'm going to go back in. There's another look. Doesn't have him there. I guess he has his hand, his glove on the shoulder.
Yeah, but does he keep it on the shoulder?
I don't know.
And is there going to be enough to overturn it?
You know, you hardly ever see, again, this is a catcher question, you hardly ever see the catcher, a play like that, throw to second.
Right.
You know, because the guy on first generally.
Wow, he's called safe.
The guy on first generally doesn't get a good jump because he's got to watch and make sure that the guy goes to third and doesn't just start and stop.
Right. I just honestly don't think that he kept the glove on his shoulder long enough.
Yeah, or they couldn't tell whether he did.
So he's safe there. Okay, now it's on, but his hand's still on the bag. And then his left hand comes in. Was he still in contact with his left shoulder? I don't know.
Well, that is a wild pitch, the fourth one of the game for R.A. Dickey, which matches his career high. So 2-2 the count to Knapp with runners on first and third. And off the glove of Suzuki again. Here comes Odubel. The throw to the plate. He is out at home plate. Nice play by R.A. Dickey. Little hesitation, slight hesitation for Odubel. Yeah, that's why he was out at home plate. No runs, one hit. A little bit of an adventure on the base paths for both teams. Phillies leave one. Odubel tried it earlier. He got in. This time, nope.
Just dance, South Dakota to the south of France. Yeah, see, I wanna rock right now. Stepped up in the spot to get down. I am internationally known for acting classy, trashy, and grown. Let's get stupid. courageous. You can't fake this, it's contagious. Just move it.
Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. 1 run is scored today. That's it. For the Phillies, it came back in the 4th. Odubel Herrera across the plate. Odubel has 2 bunt singles today. Vince Velasquez, 4 strikeouts over 6 innings. He scattered 4 hits. R.A. Dickey has 4 wild pitches. There have been 2 pass balls. That's been part of the storyline as we begin the 7th inning. Matt Adams leads it off. And he takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Adams is 0 for 1 with a walk in today's game. That one's hit sharply down the right field line. It's a curveball. Altair will get to it before the corner and hold Adams to a single.
Good play, Aaron Altair.
It's the 5th base hit of the day.
Yeah, I think that's a wise decision by Adams. It's an excellent throw by Aaron. Perfect one-hop strike to second base.
I think Markakis is coming up.
Back to the last inning. That was a great play by Odubel to try, you know, to. I don't know if he got a great jump or not, but to try to score with 2 outs like that on that pass ball, 2 strikes on the hitter. Good play.
Well, I think, you know, Pete's always talked about, you know, erring on the side of aggressiveness.
With 2 outs for sure.
Outside 1-0.
Yeah, we don't know whether how good. Oh yeah, see that cost him right there, jumping back. You know, the jump back. If that jump back hadn't occurred, he might have made it.
I don't know why you would be retreating towards the bag anyway.
Well, you definitely shouldn't. I mean, it should be natural for a major league base runner to have his weight going toward home plate and then stop.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you see it, there should be no movement back at all.
2 balls and no strikes.
It's not like he's going to throw, you know, pick you off or anything. The ball's laying on the ground.
There's Luis Garcia firing in the bullpen for the Phils. And a line drive base hit the opposite way for Markakis. So back-to-back hits and back-to-back base runners for the first time since the 1st inning.
Velasquez at 94 pitches right now. 2 line drive hits start this inning off. And maybe they figured something out.
You know what, after that 1st inning, I mean, he was really did not have a good pace out there. Look, he was lamenting every pitch. He's gotten into an excellent rhythm today.
Yeah, it's a shame really that he's sort of out of it now because of these 2 hits. But, you know, like Mike said, it could just be a readjustment by the Braves hitters. The Chicago Cubs are coming to town. Their only trip to Philadelphia beginning Friday, August 25th. It's a 3-game series. It wraps up on Sunday the 27th. The ShopRite Back to School alarm clock is to be given out to kids 14 and under. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets. We've gotten our first glimpse at the alarm clocks. They're in the office, and I think the youngsters are going to be pretty happy with it. Kurt Suzuki is 1 for 2. Ground ball foul past the 3rd base bag. Suzuki is the threat. He has 7 home runs in 9 games played this month, including 1 in game 1 of the series. He took a long look out at Ron Washington in the 3rd base coach's box. Curveball in the air, left center field. Going back on it is Herrera. Tagging at second is Adams. Tagging at first, Markakis. The throw goes to the cutoff man, Galvis. The throw to second is not in time. Cesar asked them to look at it. And the Braves have second and third right now with one man down.
Well, Suzuki got it deep enough into the outfield to advance the runner to third. With one out.
It's in there.
Well, you know, looking back at that play, if Freddie is screaming, throw it to second, throw it to second, maybe Odubel throws it straight to second base and shuts down Markakis. That would have been the right play. But if he hits the cutoff man, throws it toward third base, it's awful hard to get Markakis.
Yeah, what if Freddie was out in center more instead
Freddie
of
definitely in a perfect place for Freddie to be would be in direct line with second base.
Right.
And you know, he would have.
Then
But you know, when the ball goes up there and you're not sure exactly how deep it is and whether he might have a play on. Adams is not a real speedy guy. A play at third, but that's the tying run. That's the winning run at second base, right?
Yeah. Breaking ball and it's 0-1. Well, it's good base running by the Braves and Markakis to make sure he got there. So now Velasquez has to work around a little trouble with one out here in the top of the seventh.
When I'm commissioner, that'll go down as a sacrifice.
You know, are you going to bypass the whole board?
Yes.
You're never wrong when you keep the winning run off of second base. You're never wrong when you keep the double play in order.
Right.
Nice play, Andrew Knapp. I mean, seriously, what's the difference between what Suzuki just did and laying down a bunt? Zero.
Well, he wasn't sacrificing himself. It ended up sacrificing the runner, but he wasn't intending to sacrifice himself. Is that
well, now when
Your
guys
Honor?
bunt for a hit,
Your Honor.
when they bunt for a hit and they're thrown out at first with the man on first, they give him a sacrifice.
They do.
That's true.
You know, that wasn't his intent.
You can change that rule for sure.
Fastball in there, 1-2. 95 on the heater from Velasquez. 100 pitches now for the Phil's right-hander.
Saying you must square around to get a sacrifice.
Yes. Phillies infield does have a luxury here of Adams being at third base, not the fleetest of foot. So they don't have to be all the way in on the grass.
I don't understand playing him in this situation.
You're okay with the tying run scoring? You want to get it
Oh,
out,
absolutely.
right?
I mean, I want to keep on a base hit or a ground ball to say just slightly to the right of shortstop.
That bounce went right up and hit Knapp in the throat.
I want my middle infielders deep enough to stop. Ooh.
Ow.
That way you have that thing hanging down, right?
Bar's a little
You got to tuck your chin.
Yeah, a little shorter than the Yeager mask.
But you know what I mean? Back to that. I could drop this subject if you want.
No. No, but I think that's why they're not all the way in.
They're halfway, yeah.
You know?
But they still have. Oh, not, here's Freddie. Look, Freddie's up. Not going to cover ground.
Swing and a miss. 95. Camargo does not make contact. 2 outs here in the seventh. 5 strikeouts for Velasquez.
Just rearing back. Here it is.
And you're the home team too. That's another thing. Why you cover ground, allow the runner to go to third.
I see what you're saying.
It's tie ball game.
Well, they decide they're going to go after Rodriguez here with the pitcher spot due up next. Rodriguez taps one foul. It's 0-1.
I think he's just out there as a decoy.
Well, and the other thing too is if you're wondering about the Braves, their pinch hitters are some of the best in the league statistically. 30 pinch hit RBIs, 5 pinch hit home runs. I mean, I don't know if that weighs into the decision by Pete Mackanin.
Old Sean Rodriguez has been up some men on base the last couple games.
Akil Norris Morris, excuse me, warming up in the pen. The 0-1 pitch. Popped up foul, 0-2.
See, this is Velasquez at his best right here. 94, 95. When you need a strikeout, he can get it for you.
Deep breath, execute your pitch.
Runners lead off second and third. No balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the 7th inning. Phillies up by 1. In the dirt, Knapp keeps it in front as it rolls up the third base line.
Another great play by a catcher. Go up and Knapp. They can block some balls, and you know that's like an RBI. You got to get credit.
Well, when Ben is the commissioner, he can put that on the agenda too.
You're not going to let him go, are you?
No, I like the concept
Speaking
of what
of
he's
the
saying.
commissioner just made his speech.
Yeah, he did. 1-2. And now another meeting out on the mound.
Andrew just making sure that Vince has complete conviction. And you want to have conviction in every pitch you throw. You must throw every pitch with a purpose. In situations like this, gotta make sure.
Runners lead off. The pitch outside again. He went with a slider. At least I think that was a slider. It was 83.
On the board is a curveball.
Time is called.
That's late.
John Rodriguez, who missed the start of this season because he had left rotator cuff surgery on the 14th of February after signing a 2-year deal with the Braves. He was involved in an automobile accident. Three and two. Adams over at third base and Markakis at second with 2 men down here in the 7th. R.A. Dickey, a little bit of a decoy in the on-deck circle. Three-two pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. Rodriguez down on strikes. Back-to-back Ks for Velasquez. One of his best outings of the year. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left in scoring position. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the Phillies 1 and the Braves nothing. going to take the ultimate baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. This is where we get you updated on what's going on around baseball. All right, so the Yankees had 2 prospects that they were probably going to take off the 40-man roster at the end of this year. So they traded those 2 prospects to the Twins for Jaime Garcia. Now, Garcia was with these Braves, went to the Twins for 1 start, and now is with the Yankees. Melky Cabrera is back to the Royals. He was traded today for the White Sox. There was some cash involved as well. And Ryan Zimmerman has become the District of Columbia's all-time home run leader as Washington trails Colorado 8-4 in the bottom of the 6th inning of their ball game. Here, the Phillies in the bottom of the 7th are on top 1-0 thanks to Odubel Herrera. Odubel's trying to get Maikel Franco to acknowledge the camera, and Andres Blanco is saying, "Get on out of here." So as we go to the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Knapp, looks like Cameron Perkins on deck. And then the top of the order with R.A. Dickey still out on the mound.
Men on 2nd and 3rd, Vince Velasquez. KK, 2 strikeouts in a row when you need him. That's what you want to see out of Vince Velasquez. He went after him, although that last pitch he got away with the kind of a backup high slider. But all in all, 2 strikeouts right when you need him.
Knapp takes low. He was up when Odubel was thrown out trying to score from 3rd. Knapp is 0 for 1. He walked his first time up. Grounds that one out towards 2nd. Brandon Phillips is up with it. And 1 away here in the 7th inning. Monday, September 25th, when the Washington Nationals are here in Philadelphia, celebrate the music and history of the Beatles here at Citizens Bank Park. It's Beatles night. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more information. If you buy your tickets on the theme night page, you get that hat right there. Nice little keepsake. Here comes Chuck Hernandez.
I can understand maybe coming out and telling a pitcher about a scouting report, but with R.A. Dickey, he's going to throw everybody the same.
He was having a pretty thick conversation with Kurt Suzuki too before Chuck came out.
Asking you, says, how's your knuckles feel?
How are your fingernails?
Well, seriously.
Perkins hitting .214. He has 5 RBIs. And he takes a strike, 0-1.
Hey, R.A., I really think you should go after Perkins with a knuckleball. How do you feel about that?
Bouncer over to the left side. Camargo around it. And Perkins is retired. 2 outs. And back to the top of the order for Cesar Hernandez, who is 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs and a walk today. Freddie Freeman's playing in on the grass at 3rd just in case. And a line drive base hit it to left field. A 2-out single for Cesar Hernandez. He's now hitting 11 of his last 12. And he is aboard for Freddie Galvis, who has 2 hits today.
Well, Hernandez better be off and running at some point early in this at-bat.
Luis Garcia still throwing in the pen. He's thrown a lot of warm-up pitches today.
Knuckleball pitcher, 2 outs. That's definitely not the lead of an aggressive base runner thinking about stealing.
Freddie was going for the downs on that one. 0-2.
We don't know if he has an injury or something keeping him from running, but stealing. But
he was moving pretty well the other day, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go, don't you?
I would say yes. But I always think that. I always think that, you know, that there are chances where they could run more than they have.
And if you look at Suzuki, I mean, he's on a knee. You know how hard it's going to be to
it's almost like
make that exchange?
He has no intention of running. No aggressiveness whatsoever to this lead unless he thinks he can just outrun the ball.
There he goes.
A delayed steal again.
Swung on and missed. And that is 8 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We'll go to the 8th inning. The Phils will go to their bullpen up 1-0. Chevrolet dealers and by Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEFF now or visit jeffersonhealth.org. Phillies are on top 1-0. We move to the top of the 8th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Time now for our GMC Precision Plays. And we go to Vince Velasquez. 7 innings today. 6 strikeouts for Velasquez. Scattered 6 hits. He was dialing it up when he needed it today.
Yes, he was. And the curveball was better. Mixing a few changeups. Was able to induce a couple double plays. Defense played very, very well behind him, but he got the big strikeouts when he needed them. Pitching to contact early in the game, but dialing up here at the end. Sean Rodriguez, that's a big fist pump, and rightfully so. He was outstanding today. There are your GMC Precision Plays.
So the line for Velasquez: 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 108 pitches, which is a season high. Danny Santana will lead things off. Santana's hitless in his last 15 plate appearances against Luis Garcia, who's become the workhorse for the Phils out of the bullpen. Phillies added Mark Leiter Jr. to the pen today because of the injury to Pedro Beato. Back toward the middle and a base hit for Santana. That ends that 0-for streak for him that we were talking about. It's probably a good feeling for him, ending an 0-for-15.
Yes, sir.
It's also
been there, done that.
It's also probably difficult for him to overcome an 0-for-15 because he doesn't play all that much. Eder Inciarte is 1-for-3 today.
Looks like he's in sort of a mode there at home plate. He might be thinking about bunting. Kind of choked up on the bat.
He's choked up against Velasquez today.
He shows bunt. The ball gets away and goes back to the screen. Knapp had to hustle up because Santana was already around second base. So now a runner at second on the wild pitch. Well, both pitchers pitched well today. R.A. Dickey gave up the one unearned run. If it weren't for the wild pitches, which happened, and the pass balls, which happen when a knuckler is on the mound, we probably would be looking at a scoreless game. Inciarte bunts it toward third. That'll get the runner to third. Sacrifice is successful. 5-3 on the putout. Brandon Phillips is coming up.
Yeah, very nice bunt by Inciarte. Exactly what the Braves wanted. Make the third base field the ball.
Luis, not easy to bunt off of.
And you have a tough assignment here with Brandon Phillips, who good at putting the ball in play. And back to this defense again here. Phillips being the winning run, playing the infield in with one out.
Fastball, and it's 0-1.
It's a sign of a good hitter right there. Take a fastball right down the middle with a man on third and one out, tying run. Some hit two-strike confidence right there.
And a liner foul. All right, so this is where he has done some damage against the Phils. Now with 2 strikes. Let's see how he changes his approach. He has normally sprayed it right up the middle with 2 strikes, at least over the last couple games.
I mean, that pitch kind of fooled him because it was a slider that started on the inside corner, and he was kind of looking for a slider away so he could poke it to right field.
No balls and 2 strikes to Phillips. Fly ball down the right field line.
He just has the ability to let that ball get deep, 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 and then just
he definitely
flash
does.
his hands at it.
And Garcia got away with one right there. That was right over the middle of the plate, an 0-2 slider. He's definitely in his opposite field approach right now.
Bouncer to second base. Here comes Santana. The throw to the plate is wide, and the Braves tie the game up. Phillips is around first. He'll hold up there. It's a 1-1 ball game. RBI on the fielder's choice. They had him if it was a good throw to the third base side, but it would have been tight.
It would have been close. That was an excellent secondary lead by Santana.
Sure was.
I mean,
how is this going to be even close?
That's what forces Cesar to rush. I mean, this ball it's not hit slowly.
Well, yeah, if the throw is accurate.
Boy, he got going in a hurry.
Probably would have been out with a perfect throw, knee high on the runner's side of the bag, and that's why they played in.
Well, Luis Garcia's scoreless streak ends at 22 innings. And the Braves have tied it up at 1 here in the top of the 8th inning. So Freddie Freeman is up with a runner at first base.
Some ABC baseball by the Braves.
Fastball up high, which should say a slider up high. Didn't have a lot of break to it. One and two.
Freddie's really not geared for that high pitch, is he? That uppercut?
No, he's not.
Not to mention he's hitting 320, but
Down on strikes now. 0 for 6 against Garcia.
I was not watching the monitor. Was that the slider or splitter?
I thought it was a split, but
It said slider on the board.
it did. 87 miles an hour is usually.
Well,
the
that's where
slider.
his splitter is too.
Yeah. Slider.
No, that's a split.
Yeah.
That is a
Really?
split. Absolutely.
See, now I thought
No.
live it was a.
You watch the ball come
was
out
a
of his
split.
hand. It had a little bit of a
Did it?
knuckling action. Yeah, tumbling action. That was a good one there, boy.
See, I thought live it was a split. I thought replay it was a slider. And a line drive base hit over on the left side. That's the second hit of the day for Adams. Third hit in this series. And the Braves have runners on first and second with 2 men down.
Here's that splitter again. Watch it come out of his hand. See how his fingers are spread? See how it's tumbling? You get that
Well,
little
it's-
knuckle action?
it's definitely not breaking like a slider.
That was a good one.
Markakis is 2 for 3. He singled his first time up, struck out, and then singled in the 7th inning. Runners go. At least Phillips goes. The throw by Knapp. Nice play by Franco to get to that baseball. It's a strike, but there are runners on first and third with 2 men down. 9th stolen base for Phillips.
What do you think? Going to give him a little verbal base on balls here?
Pete just signaled something. And they will walk Markakis intentionally to face Camargo, Suzuki, who is 1 for 3.
Well, they knew something about Garcia's delivery to the plate there, didn't they?
He was trying to time him out at second. Suzuki 1 for 3 today. He really hasn't been a slouch as far as the production goes offensively. A bouncer out towards shortstop. Big hop for Galvis. Flips to Hernandez at second. And the inning comes to a close, but the Braves do tie it up. They do so on a fielder's choice. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 1-1 game. Time now for our Hyundai defensive plays of the game.
Check out Freddie Galvis right here. He has total awareness of where that base runner is. First of all, he stops the ball from going to left field. It was a nice strike to Napa at home plate. And here's Freddie, an in-between hop, a slide, a reverse pivot slide. Watch this. Isn't that sweet? He knows right where the second baseman is, and Cesar turns it. And those, folks, are your Hyundai defensive plays of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Santana stays in the game to play right field. So Markakis is out. They must be short in the bullpen today. They have a lot of guys. Jim Johnson is on to pitch here in the 8th inning. He blew the save last night. Brian Snitker has been, well, it's been an interesting year from a closer standpoint. A lot of teams have the same issues. The Phillies do. Johnson with 22 saves also has some tough blown saves.
Maybe he feels the game's on the line right now.
Could be. Two balls and one strike. Three and one.
Good eyeball.
On deck is Nick Williams.
Ooh. Tough pitch right on the outside corner. Contact, Aaron.
To the right side, Adams knocks it down, and Altair will be safe.
Put the ball in play, anything can happen. Might even get a base hit on this ball. It'd be a
We'll see.
50-50 shot here right now, but
I don't even know if Johnson was going to get over there or be there in time.
That was my thought. It is an E3. Johnson's hovering at the bag.
Yeah, definitely an error.
He doesn't break right away. I think Aaron Altair's going to beat Johnson to the bag anyway.
I do think he would too. Certainly a playable ball for the first baseman. 5 errors now for Matt Adams. And now Nick Williams up 0 for 3.
It's your cleanup batter. So we don't even think about a bunt, right?
I think you could think about it. Taps it foul, and it's 0-1. Since the 22nd of June, the Phillies have outscored the opposition 143-119. Today it's a 1-1 game as Altair draws the throw over. They're trying to get that burst offensively to take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
There
that
it
one
is.
gets away. It goes right back to Suzuki and rolls up the first base line. Another wild pitch.
Boy, does that change everything. Oh, does that change everything. Now Williams has one job to do.
Just yanked it.
One job to do. Try to pull the ball to the right side. We don't want a fly ball to left field. We don't want a fly ball to center. We want a ground ball to the right side. Even if you take a bunt with you that way, it's a good play.
All right, Dickey had 4 wild pitches. Johnson charged with one there. 5 in the game.
Oh.
1 and 2. A little over anxious on what might have been ball 2, or would have been ball 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you have in your mind at home plate, you have to pull the ball to the right side. You don't even think about swinging at that pitch.
No.
You want a ball close to your body. Breaking ball is a good ball.
Bouncer back to the mound. That'll hold Altair at second. 3 on the put out. Tommy Joseph, the batter. All right, so Williams unable to get the runner over to third. He's 0 for 4 today. All right, Tommy's 0 for 3, 2 for 11 in the series. He has hit it 5 straight. A nice time to make it 6 straight. Rex Brothers warming up for Odubel Herrera. Inside. No swings is Tony Randazzo. Nice play by Suzuki there. Is there a little luck involved in that one, Ben?
He's a lot of luck. And soft hands. He has been busy back there today.
Pitcher have to pause or just change directions?
Does the pitcher have to pause when he comes set, you mean? Yeah, 1/1000. You don't think he's doing that? And a liner foul. Boy, he got around on that one. Well, they got the baseball. They probably got a little bit of a welt too.
Woo. Short swing.
Three and 2. In the dirt, ball 4. That'll put runners on first and second.
Boy, was that a good take right there.
Yeah.
3 and 2. Jeez, how about that? 3 and 2 yacker.
Well, they're going to go back to the bullpen now. It'll be Brothers who comes in. So they'll bring the lefty in to face the lefty Odubel Herrera.
Odubel's in the middle of it again.
Just he was in last night's ball game. We've got another pitching change here in the 8th inning. The Phils have 2 men on. Friday, August 11th, the Phillies take on the New York Mets. Now, the Phillies are home for 4 days against the Mets, and it includes Alumni Weekend. And on the 11th, It'll be the Pete Rose Bobble figurine given out. Compliments of Toyota. It's all part of Toyota Alumni Weekend. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more information. It's a 1-1 game. Rex brothers in for the second consecutive night. I should say for the second game. He pitched in last night's ball game. Then again, so did everybody just about for the Atlanta Braves. And facing Odubel Herrera. Odubel has 2 bunt hits today. You want him to make it 3 or no?
No. But I'll tell you what, going forward, those 2 bunt base hits are going to help him a lot. I think it's going to raise his confidence about that part of the game.
Yeah, he hadn't had any this season.
2 runners on base. Shows bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. He was just showing it there, Michael. He wasn't actually going to do it.
He does that, and he's not the only one that does it. I don't understand it. I want to pick up release point. I want to see where this lefty's coming from.
Exactly. If I'm going to give him a pitch, I'm actually going to time the pitch up as if I weren't.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy. Just do that in Little League, you know?
He used to do it in Little League. Yep.
Trying to make the guy throw a ball.
Now you're down 0-2.
You know, the first pitch was a slider, then he comes back with it again. If you would have stayed in there and followed it, even if you tell yourself I'm not swinging, you would have picked up the rotation. Maybe you wouldn't have swung at that one.
This series, the Phils 5 of 18 with runners in scoring position. I think it's a great point, though. I really do. I think that tracking a baseball, because Pete talks about it, Matt talks about it, it's so important.
Well, so far we do not have a quality at bat going here. We're going to turn it into one, hopefully. That guy's not happy with it. Matt stares. You put yourself in a tough spot against this lefty.
Bends it back a little bit. 1-2.
Wasn't that bad a pitch, was it?
I think it didn't even look like a fastball to me. It looked like a slider, but it's not the way you take it. That bad back, go into that short poke stroke here, Odubel.
They turned back toward Altair. Aaron did look like he was dancing a little bit off the bag.
We'd like to know what's going through his head right now. Odubel.
It's good that it was what was going through his head is I'm not going to swing at that slider in the dirt. Two balls and 2 strikes. Bouncer right side, and it pulls foul. And it remains 2-2. I thought Brothers had the capabilities of being one of the better left-handed relievers in the National League when he was with the Rockies. Obviously, he's changed addresses. Now here with the Braves. 2-2. Swing and a miss. 2 outs here in the 8th inning, and they'll leave it to Maikel Franco to try to get the go-ahead run home.
This is you still have a base open speech right here by Suzuki.
They're leaving him in.
They're going to leave him in to face Franco, and if they lose Franco, then they'll have Knapp bat right-handed. Lead off, 1 ball, no strikes, and a broken bat liner foul into the crowd. The head of the bat goes all the way out into shallow left field. By the way, congratulations are in order. Adrian Beltre becomes the 31st member of the 3,000 hit club with a double today in the 4th inning. So he joins the likes of Roberto Clemente, Al Kaline, Wade Boggs, Rafael Palmeiro.
It's great he got to do it at home.
That's why they were so upset when he got ejected from the game the other night, because it might have taken away an at-bat, or did take away an at-bat at home. The 3,000 hits for Adrian Beltre.
That's so funny what he did.
I thought it was funny. I think Jerry Davis would have to take a look back at it and think the same thing now. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
All right, let's back off here. We don't need home run. We just need contact. Take a home run as a result of that thinking. You got to protect the outside corner. It all coming from a guy in the top 10 all-time in strikeouts.
Preach, Michael, preach. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts of Odubel and Franco wrap up this 8th inning. So the Phils get the leadoff batter aboard, but do not score. That means we'll head to the 9th inning, all squared up at 1. The opposing team 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Time for Hector Neris to come on here in the top of the 9th inning. The Phillies and the Braves tied at 1. Hector takes over for Luis Garcia, who allowed a run in the 8th inning. Both starters will leave with a no decision today. Johan Camargo will lead it off for the Braves. Camargo's 0 for 2. He walked earlier in the game. And he takes the first pitch outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Camargo hits it foul down the left field line. 1-1. Phillies bullpen last night 6 scoreless innings. Today in their 1 inning they've given up a run so far. They're just trying to keep it at that 1 run. Give the offense a chance at the bottom of the 9th inning to pull out another last-minute victory. The Braves, though, they're the hottest team when it comes to wins in their final at-bat. They have 15 wins in their final at-bat, which is tops in baseball. Two and two.
Kid's a good-looking player.
Yeah, he has scuffled the last couple of days, but just his actions at shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see a presence.
I like him at home plate because he's not in a rush to hit. He's got that exaggerated leg kick, but it's not a violent leg kick. It kind of glides into it, much like the Carlos Gonzalez, the Rockies.
Two is inside. It got a piece of the home plate umpire. I think it may have got a piece of his hand. And now it's 3-2.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Right flat on it, too, not a glancing blow.
That's painful. He could feel it still. All right, so the count 3-2 to Camargo. And ball 4. So he's aboard to start the top of the 9th inning. And Sean Rodriguez is coming up. He's looking into the dugout, now looking over at the third base coach's box for Ron Washington.
Hit a couple ground balls to short, go along with a strikeout in the 7th.
Yeah, Phillies have turned a couple of 6-4-3 double plays in this ball game. He came up in a huge spot his last time up with runners on second and third and 2 outs. He bunts back toward the mound. Hector will have to play at first after a little hesitation, waiting for Cesar to get there. Sacrifice is successful. It's 1-4 on the putout. They had one away, and Danny Santana's coming up for the second time. He singled his last time up. That ended an 0 for 15 stretch for him. Inside 1-0. Popped him up way up there.
Good height.
Freddie Galvis, I don't think sees it. Now he's got it. He makes the catch. He was looking to see where Cesar was. 2 outs. And Ender Inciarte is coming up, the top of the order for the Braves. Here we are at the top of the 9th inning down in Washington. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pat Neshek gave up a run today.
Ooh.
Rockies are leading still. So he's given up runs in 3 games this year, 2 against the Nationals.
So he was wearing number 37.
That's his old number.
And he can't wear 17 in Colorado.
Can't wear 17 in Colorado. Well, he could, but he can't.
Yeah.
Todd Helton's number. Swing and a miss. Well, I think 37 would have been his first choice here, but Odubel had it. Vizcaino warming up in the bullpen. There was a thought that he would be the closer today. So maybe he's warming up in case the Braves take a lead, although it might be bullpen by committee for Brian Snitker. He may not worry about the closer, just getting through the 9th inning one way, shape, or form. 1-1. Victor not as sharp today. Still only 13 pitches, and he's an out away from getting through this 9th inning. Two and two.
97.
Yeah, 97 right at the knees, according to home plate umpire Pat Hoberg.
Yeah, this is the guy you want right here. I wouldn't want Brandon Phillips up there.
Two and two. Check swing, 3-2. Threw him a split. Camargo's at second base. He reached on the leadoff walk. There's Brandon Phillips, who has the RBI today for the Braves and has 6 hits in this series. Three-two, lifted left side. Freddie Galvis says he has it. He's holding off Nick Williams, makes the catch. The inning is over. No runs, no hits. 1 man left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Phils and the Braves tied at 1. Time now for our WB Mason deliveries of the game. All right, so this is how we've gotten to this point. First, it was Odubel Herrera.
The always exciting pass ball off the mid of Kurt Suzuki in the 8th inning. It's a ground ball to second base. The always exciting fielder's choice. That's why we're notched at 1. There are your WB Mason deliveries of the game.
I have to say, though, when Jimmy Rollins used to score from third on those little bouncers at the plate, wild pitches, pass balls, I used to love it. I mean, the energy, because Jimmy would get such good leads. He and Chase Utley off the third base bag. Hector Neris pitched a scoreless 9th inning, and now is hoping that Rex Brothers does not pitch a scoreless 9th inning. Brothers will face Andrew Knapp to start it off. Again, the Phillies do have Hyun Soo Kim as part of their roster today. He has arrived from Baltimore and is available to pinch hit.
As well as Ty Kelly.
Can't forget Ty Kelly. He's in the on-deck circle.
Our official closer.
He got the hit against Rex Brothers last night. Knapp takes low, 1-0.
I have to ask the production cavity if that's the first time the WB Mason deliveries of the game were pass ball and a fielder's choice.
Well, there's probably a good bet. Told no. And a line drive down the left field line. Fair ball heading to the corner. And Knapp running hard, heading to second base. And he is there sliding. A leadoff double.
That's a smoke ball right there.
That's a really good swing.
Yeah, jumping on that fastball, 1-0 count.
Cleared his hips out so nicely. Yep. You know, Tom, the other night I asked you, we were in the stands, I said, what's a better sound, the sound of a bat or the sound of the catcher's mitt? I want to go with the sound of the bat. That was loud and crisp.
Boy, it looks pretty when you hit a line drive like that, when you replay it.
Nice level swing.
Fundamentals perfect.
Take a listen to this.
Bats nowadays and balls nowadays, they sure sound special.
All right, so Knapp is at second base, his 7th double of the year. Ty Kelly is up, Brian Snitker is up and walking out to the mounds. He's going to go to Vizcaino, who has been warming up in the bullpen. Actually, Vizcaino had sat down. Morris got up to start the throw. So it is Morris who's coming in. So
he shot the arrow.
Boom. We'll be back right after this. It's presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Marshall Harris, Ricky Metallico are standing by. Hopefully talking about a Phillies victory. We'll see how it's set up here. So Akil Morris comes in for the Braves, and Ty Kelly will flip around to the left side of the plate in a bunting situation with Knapp at second base. Here's what Ty Kelly did last night.
0-1 fastball. Right in the middle of the plate. Nice short swing. Game over.
Corners are pitching in for the Braves. Camargo keeping Knapp close at second. Shocked that he's not squaring around. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, he went straight to Pete McCannon, so he's got his instructions from the manager.
I guess he just feels like he's going to let him try to get him over by pulling the ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1.
He really pulled the string on that one. It's like a parachute came out.
And now he shows bunt, takes low. It's 2-1.
I tell you, I don't understand why you would give him one swing. I mean, what if he made contact and popped it up or something?
Got the leadoff hitter in the on-deck circle.
Plus, you got Freddie Freeman at third base. We haven't seen him handle a bunt play.
Upstairs, 3-1. Well, now what do you do if you didn't have him bunt on the first pitch? It's 3-1. I don't know if you think that he's going to get a cookie. Is that better to have him
I don't know.
away or
I'm old school. Yeah, got to get this guy to third.
I'm with you.
So whichever way he decides to do it. In the dirt, ball 4.
Now there's no doubt.
You sure?
I would like to see Cesar, and it's weird because I think he and Freddie both bunt better when they're bunting for a hit. So I'd like to see Cesar just go about it like nobody's on. Just try and get it down.
Right, and he would normally get it down left-handed, bunting it toward third, but he tries to bunt for a base hit. Corners again are in with nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th inning at a 1-1 game. And he shows bunt. It's way upstairs. It's 1-0. That's Suzuki out to the mound to talk to Morris.
You know,
24-year-old right-hander.
We talk so much about executing plays like this. They want to make it sound like it's real easy. If you just say, "Hey, get him over with a bunt," the guy's throwing 95 miles an hour, and then it's not really that easy to place a perfect bunt there. You never practice against live pitching.
Ball is bunted up the third base line. Freeman has it. Sacrifice is successful. It's a base hit.
That's amazing.
I mean,
just amazing.
I don't know about that ball. We'll see it whether it could have gone foul. Whether it could have rolled.
I think it's going to stay fair.
I'll tell you what, though, with Fernandez hitting, I'd be tempted to let it roll.
Yeah, but
the grass right there.
If he gets by him, game's over.
Oh well, I mean, I'd turn around and chase it down.
He does beat it. Looking at the replay, it would be a crew chief review. So now the infielders are in. The outfielders are in as well with the bases loaded. And Freddie Galvis at the plate in a 1-1 game. Freddie takes high. It's 1-0. Now Morris, obviously, watching him against the last couple of hitters, has had a little difficulty getting ahead. Freddie lines it into right field, a base hit, and for the second consecutive day, the Phils have won in their final at bat. This time in the bottom of the 9th inning on an RBI single by Freddie Galvis that brings home Andrew Knapp. And for the second straight day, the celebration is underway.
Fernandez, Galvis, and Herrera show today. Good pitching by Velasquez. See the feeling? You know how you got the feeling you're going to win close ball games now?
It's nice
and
to have that feeling.
A couple of months ago, you had the feeling you were going to lose. I mean, you did everything to try to win, but there's just that cloud that hangs over the game that you've been beaten so many times in that situation. So what can happen now? Now we believe the run. We're going to get the run and win the game.
Yeah, it's nice to have that feeling. 9 wins now since the All-Star break for the Phillies. They win it on the RBI single by Freddie Galvis. He's our Chevrolet player of the game. He goes down to get this one. And he just floats it into shallow right field. And obviously it was easy for Andrew Knapp to cross the plate.
And you know what? I think that was an off-speed pitch.
Yeah,
it was.
Was it a changeup?
And you know what? He recognized the pitch, and just kind of like we talked earlier in the game, Freddie, just serve it. He's got that little serve swing going now. He starts feeling that. Look out.
Well, Freddie Galvis joins us down on the field. Freddie, you just heard what Schmitty said about just serving it. Was that the thought there? Just serve that changeup into right field?
Yeah, Matt just told me he got a pretty good change.
Freddie,
I mean,
serve, you know, like swing easy. Serve it out there.
I try, but like Matt told me, he got a pretty good change. I just try to see a change up and try to put a good swing to the ball, and you know, I think I got the base hit.
Well, it was nice to wrap up a second consecutive game with a walk-off base hit. With his wildness, were you expecting something in the strike zone?
Cuidado, detrás.
They come.
Oh my God.
Not only did you get Gatorade, you got some seeds too, Freddie.
Yeah. So no, like you said before, yeah, the last 2 games we play pretty good and just come from high, you know, and try to win the game, and we do pretty good.
Hey, Freddie, it's Mike up here.
Okay.
Schmidt, your old buddy, remember?
Yeah.
You look to me like you're getting comfortable with that little kind of serve swing, whereas you hold your hands back and you don't overswing, and you just kind of serve it out over shortstop or over set. You know, that little swing where you're not swinging hard, swinging nice and easy.
Yeah.
And that was a change-up or something there you hit, right?
It was a change. Yeah, I just try to stay with the approach, you know, try to stay to the middle. Don't try to do too much. If the home runs coming, they coming. But I just try to be on base and try to set the path for the big guys.
Hey, man, by the way, you put on a heck of a show at shortstop today.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You got one of those little gold badges coming for your glove.
I don't know, but we have to keep playing hard and try to do the job every day, and we'll see what happens.
We're going to let you go right now, Freddie, but you really like being in that 2-hole. I mean, the numbers really show that. You feel very comfortable there, huh?
Yeah, I really like it, you know. I feel like I have to push myself to help the team, you know, and when I'm in that kind of situation, I feel much better.
All right, Freddie, congratulations. Nice going.
All right, thank you.
Yep, Freddie Galvis, our guest, as he helps the Phils win it for the 3rd consecutive game. They win it walk-off style, just like they did last night. It brings home Andrew Knapp. The Phillies win it 2-1. They take the first 3 games of this series.